Wild week of coaching news, so let's go to the Domino's pregame headquarters and our man Shefty with everything we need to know. You said it was going to be a wild week this week, and in fact, it certainly was.
6 of the 7 openings were filled. New Orleans is the last one that now remains open. But let's look back at the week that was. The Raiders hire a man who now will be the oldest head coach in NFL history who doesn't act anything like that. The Bears get the guy out of the division in Detroit, the guy that they had targeted all along, and the Jets get a player, in Aaron Glenn, a coach who they once drafted in the first round, started him out in the front office. The Jaguars essentially stole Liam Cohen out of Tampa, and he will be introduced at a press conference Monday, and that is the big news there, where essentially they bring him in after he had agreed to a contract in Tampa. They couldn't reach him. They sensed something was going on. He goes to Jacksonville. The Jaguars need a new GM now to match with Liam Cohen, but they're not in any rush to hire the general manager. They're first going to concentrate on their coaching staff, fill out most, if not all, their staff, and then they will move on to the general manager front, being that other teams are not looking for GMs. As for Brian Schottenheimer, Brini, Friday night, my phone rings. It's Jerry Jones. He says, that Brian Schottenheimer, he's been an assistant coach all his life. He's nothing more than an assistant coach. That's the way he's been. That's the way it's worked out in the past. But let me tell you something about Brian Schottenheimer right now. He ain't no assistant coach anymore. He's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And a man who essentially grew up around football, the son of Marty Schottenheimer, a man who you know very well, Rex, having coached them in New York, now takes over in Dallas. Brian Schottenheimer interviewed for head coaching jobs back when he was on your staff, turned down some other opportunities, never got the opportunity. And Jerry Jones, I'm going to say this right now, some of the Cowboys fans may not have been excited about this hire, but Jerry Jones could not have been more excited about this hire.
You know, I mean, I like the hire. Brian Schottenheimer is an outstanding football coach, first off. I mean, outstanding coach. And he never coached for me. He coached with me. All right? I put a lot on his plate. He is ready for this moment. I don't care what people are going to say, the criticism. It's not warranted, okay? I get it. He's part of a team that, oh, you fired the head coach. No. This guy, by the way, he interviewed for the Jet job. That was my #1 competition, and I got it. And it says a lot for him to stay in the building and coach with me. And I have a ton of respect for this man. Obviously, coming from a coaching family, that's going to give him a leg up. He's not intimidated by the dang devil. So to me, he can handle this. It's an important thing. Being a Dallas Cowboy now, the national spotlight's on you and things. So I think he can handle it.
I mean, I love it. Give a guy a shot. I mean, give Shotty his shot, basically. And so, I mean, I don't have any problem with it at all. I've heard great things about him being a coach, like you just said, Rex. I think from a player perspective in the Dallas Cowboy locker room, I'm thinking, so why'd we fire Mike in terms of Mike McCarthy and what's going on? Because right now, I mean, I hope they become incredibly motivated, and Schottenheimer knows this, that you're about to watch an NFC championship game with 2 NFC East opponents, okay, with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders, and you're searching for a new head coach. That's how far that they've fallen off. So the motivation has got to be high, and Schotty's got to be the head coach to bring him back to at least win that division.
I'm going to push back a little bit on both you guys. Listen, I wish Shotty well. I know him a little bit. I think he's a long time, really good football coach. He's never been a head football coach, right? And he hasn't interviewed for a head coaching job in a long time. And to think about how this entire process went down, it makes me question if the Dallas Cowboys are even serious about winning. Listen to the group they interviewed. I mean, they interviewed Kellen Moore, Robert Saleh, Leslie Frazier, and Brian Schottenheimer. Right? You didn't even take a look at the most promising candidates out there. You haven't been to an NFC championship game since 1995. That is the worst in the conference by a long shot.
Yep.
Next is the Bears, and it was 2010. So by all measures, from a postseason success standpoint, you were the worst team in the conference, right? And you just made this, the entire thing is bizarre and doesn't make sense. Again, I like Shotty. Is this an upgrade over Mike McCarthy? Like, Mike McCarthy brought him in.
He's going to have to learn as a first-time head coach. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Alex, but absolutely. I mean, I know that's going to be some type. There's obviously going to be growing pains with him being the head coach, and does that cost him 1 or 2 games? It could.
There's an irony in this. When Marty Schottenheimer worked at ESPN, which he did briefly between coaching jobs, he said to me once, if you are the coach of a football team and your players are looking over your shoulder at anyone, you have no chance to win. That was Marty Schottenheimer who said that. Does anyone not think that his son Brian now walks into a situation where the players are looking over his shoulder, and we all know who they're looking over his shoulder at. The perception of this, why are you shaking your head like that?
Who were they looking over their shoulder at?
At Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones, who has been in control of literally
Jerry.
everything there forever. The perception out there in the world right now is that Jerry has been the owner and the general manager, and now as his final act, he's decided to make himself the coach. But that is the way people are talking right now, whether it is fair or not. And this has not in any way a value judgment about Brian Schottenheimer. It is about the Cowboys, the way they do business, and how they have doubled or even tripled down on it now.
But this is the way Dallas has always done it. And this is the way Jerry's always done it. And so if the players are looking over their shoulder, over the head coach, it's not anything that they haven't done in the past.
And they're not the right players.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
If you got players that are doing that, and you think the owner, you're going to go to him instead of the head coach, it's the wrong type of players, and you're going to lose
But Teddy,
anyway.
that's why they haven't been back there in 30 years.
They've been conditioned to this. You get drafted into that organization, this is all you know. Jerry's the boss at everything. And I think now, right, like he's putting this staff together is what it seems like. Again, nothing against Schotty, but he didn't even look at all these coaching candidates out there that were so promising. This was last minute, like all his negotiations this entire
year. But didn't you say Jerry likes to do things his way, and he likes to see things and identify things that others didn't? Many thought the Dallas Cowboys wouldn't have been a good investment. He did. Many thought many of the marketing deals he did weren't good ideas. He did. He likes to do things his way. He's identified this guy. And by the way, like there's some great track record of teams hiring head coaches when they fire 7 or 8 of them every single year. So he's identified this guy that he believes where some coordinators are great head coaches, some coordinators are not great head coaches.
He has not been to an NFC championship game since 1995. You're just going to keep doing the same thing. And again, I come back to, are you serious about winning? Or is it just about ticket sales and being the most valuable franchise in the world? Right? What is more important?
You've got to be mentally tough if you're in that locker room, if you're a player. I understand that. But I'm telling you, if you've got a bunch of players that look at a head coach and don't have respect for a coach, because this is the first time he's been a head coach, but he's paid his dues.
Yes.
That's a guaranteed fact. Would you agree, Rex?
No, 100%.
And if you've got players that still want to look beyond him to Jerry Jones, it's the wrong kind of players, and that's why they're losing.
Teddy, can I send you a message? Can you just look over your shoulder there? Just look behind you a little bit. You see what Dak has over there behind him? You guys don't think Jerry Jones is always lurking in the background of literally everything?
Are you kidding me?
That's a great shot.
I didn't put that there, Teddy. That wasn't me who did that.
Okay, Dak, well, here's what you're saying.
Stands.
Get your hand off my arm. It's game time.
So
all right, that's what you're telling
Go
me.
back and show me all the pictures of Robert Kraft standing there behind Tom Brady before big games. Yeah. Show me the pictures of all the other owners in the NFL who do that. It doesn't happen. This is not a coincidence. 29 years, things don't keep happening a certain way or not happening for 29 years by coincidence, and there is only one thread of commonality that ties that entire thing together. I'm sorry, but it needed to be said. Okay, Eagles fans are ready to roll. Let's go. Where are they? Jason Kelsey sat down with Nick Sirianni in his office this morning in advance of this game. You will hear from the Eagles coach in his own office on game day as we continue here in a moment. Also coming up tonight, the Bills attempting to do what few have done, contain Patrick Mahomes. Teddy takes us back to their Week 11 matchup to show you the secrets of how they beat him. Plus, Jaden shocked the world last week, taking down the Lions in Detroit. We sat down with the Commanders' rookie superstar to take us inside his wild ride.
It's a blessing just to be able to not really just do something, but be a part of history, being the sixth rookie quarterback to start a conference championship game.
Các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh YouTube của mình. Video ngày hôm nay mình lại làm những video tô mổ để gửi tặng tất cả các bạn đây. Đây là những đồ vật, con vật của mình chuẩn bị tô mổ để gửi tặng tất cả các bạn. Đấy. Những sản phẩm của mình rất chi là nhiều, rất chi là nhiều đây. Và không thể thiếu được hộp xăm màu của mình này các bạn ơi. Hộp xăm màu giúp mình tạo ra những sản phẩm tuyệt đẹp. Và bây giờ các bạn cùng theo dõi mình tô màu nha.
Chi tiết tô màu nhé.